Do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say I really don't think you're strong enough now. Do you believe in life after love? Hello. You're welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is Wealthiest Sharon, and this is a channel where your growth is intentional and being your best self is non-negotiable. Have you been? If this is your first time joining this channel, a big welcome to you, and I hope that you would love, subscribe, share, like those videos or any of my videos. So, and to my long-time subscribers or newly subscribed, you guys are the best. So, straight ahead. So today being it's actually an unconventional day for me, or for the in general, in the sense that this day is a day for a set of people who I bet the society or anyone doesn't or haven't really thought about it or doesn't recognize it every day, every time. But guess what? I had to jump on this video because, man, I could not just this is so unscripted, okay? So bear with me. And I woke up this morning. Okay, backtrack. Last week Sunday, right, was Mother's Day. Yes. So we celebrated the mothers. It was so beautiful, And I got back from church and one of my twin boys said, "Mom." I said, "Yes." "Happy Mother's Day." I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then the other one came and said, "Mom." I said, "Yes." "Happy Mother's Day." I said, "Ooh, thank you." I loved the fact that they told me that they remembered, of course. And then the next question that ensued was, "Mom?" I was like, "Yes." "We made you a mom, right?" No, he said, the one talk, he said, "Mom, I made you a mom, right?" I was like, "Yeah, you and your brother." And they're like, "So does that mean I get a gift for making you a mom?" And I'm like, "Is that how it works?" And it's like, "Mom, we made you a mom, so you could at least celebrate us." And I was like, "You're right. You need to be celebrated. But today is Mother's Day. So I get to be celebrated. But when it's your birthday, Christmas, Valentine's Day, even Son's Day," and it was like, ooh, his eyes just lit up like with joy, beaming with joy. He was like, "Is there a son's birth? Is there like a son's birthday?" I'm like, "No, not son's birthday, but like the boy's day or the boy child's day, or the son's SON day." He was like, "So I get to be celebrated?" I was like, "Yes, I will celebrate you because I always do, but I celebrate you every day, but not on those days because sometimes I forget." And he's like, "So you want to forget next?" I was like, "No, I won't." And then guess what, people? I woke up this morning and for some reason I saw a post just deleted on one of my news plus subscription said, today is the day of the International Boys Child Day. I was like, "Whoa up. What do you mean?" I didn't plan anything. I used to think it was in September. Well, I need to get all my dates right. Okay, so on this day, I'm sure you guessed right now what I'm said, what I'm talking. This video is about. It is to celebrate International Boys Child. Yes, you heard me right. I know society has kind of focused so much on women or the girl child that we forget the boy child. They are so important. And now this is not me being biased because I'm a boy mom or because I grew up with just brothers, but this is me coming sincerely to say that the society are not doing well when it comes to celebrating the male. And today, the focus today is on the boy's child. So, raising a boy or raising boys, for me, it's been something that is not too much of an easy task because society depends so much on, they demand so much from the men, the boy child to be, strong, physical, they demand certain things like, they cannot do appear some sort of way, they have to be portrayed in a particular way. Okay. The interesting thing about raising boys is that energy, that constant playing, the curiosity, the adrenaline rush. Today they have to keep you on your toes, and we need to understand that these boys are your children before the society starts placing expectations on how they should be outside, on how they should be raised. I think boys deserve emotional safety too. They deserve to be safe emotionally too. From a young age, many boys hear things like, listen, boys don't cry, man up, toughen up, hey, get yourself up. And while resilience is important, I think boys should feel safe too, expressing emotions. A boy doesn't come to you and be like, oh, be a man. No, boys have feelings too. Imagine they feel sad, they feel fear, they feel disappointment, they feel rejection sometimes. And they need that comfort, that reassurance, the love, the support as much as everyone does, And I think one of the biggest things that we can do for a boy is to allow that boy to be emotionally healthy and safe around you. Imagine something happens and they cannot tell you. You need to be able to teach them that kindness is not weakness. Being a gentleman is not weakness. Being empathic is not weakness. Being kind is not for losers. No. Not every boy will fit in that box that the society expects them to be. And that's okay. Some boys are naturally quiet. Some boys are creative, very calculative. Some of them are slow in making decisions. And some of them are expressive about their love. Some of them are caring. Some of them are affectionate. And they should feel safe enough to grow into, it's like developing that's feeling right, guiding them the right way. Boys are constantly watching the world around them. They're watching how Mr. A is treating the neighbor, how Mr. B resolves conflicts, relations, how he manages stress, how he manages emotions. And children sometimes learn more from what we as an adult we model than what we say. Their minds are like sponge. So that's why a positive male role model is so very, very important. Okay. And I also think that we need to normalize conversations that surround mental health for boys. I'm pretty sure some boys don't even understand what mental health is. They feel like it's weak. You know, a lot of men grew up struggling silently, you know, because they were probably taught to hide their emotions, to hide what they feel at a very young age. So checking up on your boys, on your boy child, is very important, as much as protecting them physically, because if you're doing that, you're also protecting them sexually from abuse. And they can be able to tell you what is going on if someone is inappropriately, you know, touching them or bullying them. You know, ask questions like, how was your day today? What did you do in school today? Did something interesting happen? You know, or did something out of normal happen? Ask all these questions. Okay. Now, to single mothers raising boys, I must tell you, it can be tough from experience, you know. And I want you to understand that your love, your presence, your affection is not underestimated. But children need to remember that feeling they have, that feeling, that training. You know, sometimes single mothers, we tend to want to be so protective. You know, we want to teach them some things are possible. No, we cannot teach them all. So they need that positive male influence, because at the end of the day, it's the goal is to raise not just successful men. We want to raise men who are financially stable, who are emotionally smart and intelligent, men who are respectful, okay, who are kind. You know, it takes a village. Remember, it takes more than you. So let them have that support, that training. Let them know how to communicate as a man, you know, and also communicate well in the society. You know, so today on the International Day of the Boy's Child, let us celebrate the boys, not the ones that are just tough, not just the ones that society seem fit or seem good for society. Let's celebrate every boy child around us, okay? They are very important to us because they're beginning to be men for tomorrow, of the future, okay? So let's teach them to be respectful, confident, decisive, emotionally intelligent. And on this day, I want to say happy International Day to the Boy Child. Okay, may we raise them to be great, okay, and beautiful in all that they do. Now, there's some questions I want to ask. Just for engagement, let me see, what do you think a boy needs more of emotionally? Like, how do you think a boy can be raised without being too emotional? And what are the lessons that a boy should grow up learning? You know, put your questions in the comments, or your opinions, and how did you handle things as a boy growing up? You know, sometimes there's some things that we don't have all the answers to. You know, even as a father, even in a home where a boy is raised by a father and a mother, there are always going to be deficits. So we have to try to fill that deficit and fill that loopholes. So remember, here on Wealthiest Sharon, we teach ourselves to let us know that our growth, okay, is intentional, and being our best self is non-negotiable. So share this video to everyone around you, because whether or not you have a boy in your life, in your home, I am pretty sure that you know someone who has a boy child. So it is the International Day of the Boys Child today in 2026. So I want you to raise a glass to celebrate them all around you. Until next time that I see you, I want you to love yourself, continue to be the best version of yourself, and always know that you're loved and you are appreciated. Until next time that I see you, keep subscribing, sharing, like, subscribe, whatever you need to do to make this video go wide. Do that. Until then, see you and take care. Bye bye.